Hey dog that loves baseball, that really wants to go outside of the truck. We'll bring him out to the baseball field and he goes ballistic and he cannot go outside. So cute, but so ridiculous. Well, hello. Just basically going to get started on this bonus that I decided to produce for you so you can get ready for season 2, which is going to be a little bit more crazy, a little bit more open, and a little bit more understanding. However, let's take a step back. Like you've noticed, there's information and stuff about my husband, my boys, their families, and so on and so on. Well, me and my husband met 5.5 years ago. As a matter of fact, the 18th of next month will be 6 complete years. Long time to be away from somebody, yes I know. And if you're wondering, we met on Facebook just like mostly anybody else. The thing about Facebook between us was basically we corroborated as friends, this and that or whatever, not thinking nothing much, because when I met him, things were trying to get back on track with other events that was happening in the world, and I was going through kind of like a dark time, but he kind of like swept me off my feet, basically off of the internet. And I know that's weird and this and that or whatever, but he did. I've been to his country, and I've been to other parts around his country 3 different times. I love the country to death. I mean, it is a wonderful, humble, loving country, and I, am very kind of like angry and disgusted on how the media makes it seem like everything over on the third world is just terrorizing and in terror. I mean, yeah, there's some things going on over there, like what happened over there where we got married at in Tunisia, that just is so despicable and so disgusting. It's ridiculous, but it's a beautiful country over there. I cannot wait to go back for any one of our wedding anniversaries, because that's exactly where I would want to spend my new anniversary of my marriage with my husband. We was married in Tunisia. We celebrated with two friends. We very much didn't have like no ceremonies and that, which kind of like upset me a little bit, because I really wanted the whole drama effect and everything, walking down the aisle, having both families on the side, long veil, long gown, long pretty white gown and everything, and compressing how much I love this person to my right. But some things, don't happen the way you want to, but you can understand that the other person loves you to death. I went through that for a minute or whatever, so I got over it. I mean, just living, away from the person that you love so much is sometimes a lonely and terrorizing thing. I mean, we only corroborated over internet, Facebook, Skype, Twitter, Viber, Gmails, any possible way we could, telephone, any way possible we could, because I could not, afford to go over there as much as I wanted to. Funds were not as much, compatible like it could have been if I met him like 10 years ago, but we made things work, and when I was able to go over there, we had the most blessingest time you can ever imagine. I've met my mother-in-law, I've met my sister-in-law, and I have great, wonderful brother-in-laws. They are funny. They are so cute, so adorable. I mean, they are too funny to resist. It's Hamza and Bilal, and they are just adorable. Basically, like I said, they are too funny. Everybody bickers with everybody. I mean, it's hilarious how they communicate with each other. They all three of them are just hilarious together. When I was in Nigeria, visiting my family, it was nothing I could ever imagine. The animals were so free around. I mean, it was a wonderful, peaceful time, and not necessarily to say I really did not want to come back, but I knew I had to come back for school. I knew I had to come back to my family that's over here, my boys and everything. And speaking of my boys, I have an older son, and he's in a relationship. He is engaged to his children's mother. They've been together for like about 8.5, almost 9 years themselves. They're high school sweethearts, and everybody knows how high school sweethearts go. I mean, it's like you break up, you get back together, you break up, you get back together, you fight, you bicker, and this and that or whatever. But I mean, their love is so strong. They're never gonna separate. And now they have two beautiful twins, identical twins, and they are just remarkable. But I try to keep my emotions to myself about it, because sometimes things happen, and sometimes situations, and God forbid if anything happens, I don't want to be in a point that my emotions, go over the situation, and it won't be in a good, feel. My little man, he is the joy of my life. I mean, he is a phenomenal baseball player at 10 years old. He's a phenomenal yellow belt karate performer. He wants to do demo shows, and he was presented the opportunity at a white belt, so that's very rare. But he is phenomenally determined, and he is a spirit you can not imagine without. I mean, you're having a bad day, this and that or whatever, he can just make you smile forever. Of course, to him, we are married. He brings me my favorite roles every time I turn around. I cannot really be mad at that child for long. But he is a splitting image of me. He is attitude, everything, how he does things. I mean, his adjectives, his description of anything is just what will come out of my mouth. My family, they're real open, sometimes closed-minded, very closed-minded, especially like my father. We basically are a strange kind of like combination. We're a different compatible family bloodline. My mother, she's Greek, two types of Indian, white, and my father is Irish, white, and an Indian himself, which comes out to me having with that bloodline switched down or whatever a couple of times. I've been told as a combination of what is called a melting pot. I have two types of Indian, white, Irish, and Cuban in my bloodline. The Cuban comes from second generations on my father and my mother's side. As older that I get, I find more and more speculations and more descriptions of my family tree. I really don't have a memory of anything during my childhood. Not to say that I probably had a bad childhood. I really don't know. The only thing I know off of stories from everybody else who told me how I was. And half of the time they're not all good, and then half of the time they were. I mean, yeah, I was a beautiful, as they say, beautiful baby, whatever, twin to my sister, that nobody could ever tell us apart. Like I was saying, that half of the time when we were young, nobody really couldn't tell us apart until we kind of like grow a little bit older, because some health conditions between the both of us kind of like splitted us apart. She ended up getting a lot of terrible medical conditions that kind of like separated from her. So when we got a little bit older, you could tell the difference in our reactions, our ways of doing things, and more luckily how we talked. I love her to death. God only knows if she'll get better or basically just stay the way she is for the rest of her life. But I'll make sure I take care of her just like my parents has before me. I have brothers. Some I don't associate with, and two I'm very close to, and one I don't have no relationship at all with. He has a darling wife, my sister-in-law, beautiful, beautiful nephew. And they've been together for I think about 8 years. They've been married I think about 4 of those 8 years. My other brother, he's right now incarcerated for something very stupid. Just pick of the litter, I guess, of trying to make things work when you're unemployed. So, but it wasn't honest. It wasn't the right thing to do. But he didn't know. He didn't know kind of like any better. He just basically just wanted to make ends meet. I really don't know when I'm going to be able to see him again because I really don't know how much time he has. But he's up in New Jersey federal prison. My other brother that I don't have any relationship with, he's in jail as well. And really, technically, as far as I look at it, I really could care less. That hate goes very deep, and it's probably not going to get any better. There's a situation, that got him there, and it's just stupid, and that's basically all I'm going to say off of that. But I have a lovely, very rare gator mouth in the blue nose pit bull family line. He's very rare, but he's adorable. He is the love of my life next to my husband. He is Smokey, and you will see him every once in a while because he will show and prove himself. He loves baseball. He loves riding. I can have him in the truck 24 hours, 7 days a week. He loves it. He'll hang his head out the window or just take a nap in the back seat. He loves going to Carowinds. He loves going to the beach. He just basically just loves to ride. I don't have a lot of friends. I had 2 friends on campus as I go to North Carolina A&T State. I'm a criminal justice major, political science. I'm an undergrad, going for my law degree. Roman Catholic basically is the dynasty of the Vatican from the Pope in Rome. My family is very dedicated into it. That's why being married to a Sunni Muslim is a little bit different. And all speculations came up, is she going to convert or this and that or whatever and everything. So, and it's really hard because basically it's kind of like a catch-22, you know what I'm saying? Because I know my faith, this and that, but sometimes it's just like, I don't very much think, we as Catholics supposed to act like that. We as Catholics supposed to have done like that, this and that, or whatever, because like there was some informations with Israel and this and that, and them being as, God's, preserver for children. Some of the things that they did, back about a couple of years ago, I did not affiliate with, and I did not agree with. Some of their soldiers during their attacks or whatever used their children and their people as shields. So it's kind of to the fact that I know my faith and I believe in my faith and this and that, but sometimes it's to the point that I understand another faith, and even though they're almost alike to the point of the Old Testament, Um, it's kind of like between 50-50 of both, because some of the ways and religious background towards how they believe in God and everything is more accustomed to what I prefer understanding. But basically, my husband has gave me the point of free will, of not pushing me to, extend that his religion is over mine. However, to make our marriage balance, I have learned to understand both, and I have learned to respect both, and I have learned to adapt to both, as you can tell, to some standards and technicalities, because I still have my habits. I still smoke on celebrations, this and that. I still drink, but I fell in love with the hookah over there in Tunisia. I just fell in love with it. But I understand there's some stipulations and everything, but that's between of me having both sides. So it is kind of like a point that I can have my cake and eat it too, you know. With my family that you will learn to see. I hated that some of my family will not get to learn to see, because they're not with us, and some of the information I can only give out to as much as I know, because, like, for instance, my grandparents, all my grandparents are deceased. My grandmother, I never met her. My grandfather, it took me a while, but I love to death that man. He was a mean, mean literal, but he was honest. He was straight to the point, very blunt. Did not really care too much about your feelings, especially if you're doing something wrong. He'll tell you like it is and won't care. I think I get a lot of that from him. But he was very, very humble, very loyal to the faith. Um, his oldest son and his next two oldest son, my two uncles, they passed. They passed a week after my birthday, so it's very hard for me to kind of like celebrate my birth when I'm also celebrating the death of two great uncles of mine. One I never got a chance to meet. I've talked to plenty of times, but I've never got a chance to meet, so I only got to see him live off of photographs. And finally, 2 years ago, I was finally able to meet and finally, for the first time, talk to my cousins, his two children, which they took our Indian heritage names. And my grandmother, my other grandmother, I don't remember too much of her because she died when I was real young. So I didn't get too much of an atmosphere with her. My grandfather, oh, that was a mean devil man, I swear. And more or less is how most of our family heritage is like it is. But my grandfather, he raised the most beautiful animals in the world, the pit bulls. Oh my God, that's why I fall in love with pit bulls all the time, and that's why I love animals. I love dogs. He raised all kinds, but his main money maker was red noses. He loved some red noses, and they was his pride and joy. But he had always had a pit bull, always, always, always. And it was it was just a thing with my grandfathers, because I think as how they were and how they kind of like stood out, and how they basically put the fear and kind of like the children, the grandchildren, this and that, kind of like pinpoint on how I can remember them and not anything else. It seems like I more or less remember more trauma than basically good times, and I hate that because like I said, I know beautiful things did happen in my life, but I couldn't tell you from day one, because now I can tell you all the hatred, all the nightmares, all the terrible things that's happened in my life, but I can't never tell you nothing good about my life. And that's pretty much sad, but that's almost like it is. I've noticed that I had to buy, it was like a couple of years back, I had to buy a magazine of my younger sister profile modeling thing that she did when she was younger. She modeled for like 2-3 years, and I could not imagine that. I didn't know nothing about it, didn't remember anything about it, but I bought her book. I bought her, her, what was it, 10-page spread and a New York model. So that, that was a good thing that, she was able to do before she got sick. And she, oh gosh, she was beautiful. Oh gosh, she was beautiful. Well, she's still beautiful now, but it's just, she was so beautiful. So basically, I think that's more or less about it, I think. So, like I said, I hope, seems like the birds and everything are popping up on stuff. I hope you can enjoy more experiences with me, more experiences with my crazy ways of living in Roman Muslim life. And I'll see you next time. All right.